What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. And speaking of week, man, what a hell of a way to kick off this week's batch of content, man. Forbidden Door, AEW, and the New Japan joint pay-per-view went down last night, and my God, what a masterpiece it was, man. So we got a lot to cover on this one. So let's just get right to it, man. So the 0 hour, or the pre-show, as they like to dub it. It started out with one match, only the Athena versus Billy Starks in the semifinals of the women's bracket of the Owen Hart Memorial Cup. But three more matches were added on this past Saturday night on Collision, and we're gonna get right to those two along with the Athena match in a second. But first man, United Empire, T.J. Perkins, Jeff Cobb, and Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open defeated Lij, Los Ingobernables de Japón, Shingo Taguchi, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi in an opening six-man tag. Great opener. Crowd was really, really hot. The international crowd in Canada is always a great market for AEW and all professional wrestling for that matter, and they did not disappoint in this opener, man. Next up, you had the Mogul Embassy, Shane Strickland, and the Gates of Agony, Khan and Toa Leona, taking on Chaos, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, and El Desperado. Mogul Embassy picked up the win there. Nothing too crazy. A few good high spots. As I just alluded to, the semifinals of the quarterfinals of the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. Athena defeated Billy Starks to move on. Athena will be facing Willow Nightingale in the semifinals on the women's bracket in one semifinal matchup. I believe that is this Wednesday on Dynamite. And in your final 0 hour match, El Fantasmo defeated Stu Grayson, formerly of the Dark Order, now aligning himself with the Righteous, which is a group led by former Ring of Honor competitor and six-man tag team champion Vincent. Stu Grayson defeated El Fantasmo defeated Stu Grayson. I'm sorry. And yeah, that was the 0 hour. Nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about. And then, kicking off the show, MJF successfully defended the AEW World Championship over the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Questionable tactics by MJF as usual, but nothing nothing outside of MJF's wheelhouse. So yeah, and then in the second match of the night, CM Punk, the returning CM Punk in his first singles match back since his return to AEW. He had previously been working six-man tag matches to kind of get his legs under him, and now he's back in his first singles match. He is kicking off the men's side of the Owen Hart tournament against Japanese legend Satoshi Kojima, and CM Punk ended up picking up the win there, and he will face an old rival in the semifinals of the Owen Hart tournament, Samoa Joe. Next up, you had Orange Cassidy defending his All-Atlantic, not his All-Atlantic, International Championship. It was the All-Atlantic Championship. Now it is the International Championship. His AEW International Championship against Katsuyori Shibata, another Japanese legend, Daniel Garcia, and Zack Sabre Jr., the New Japan Pro Wrestling television champion. That was a fun fit up win, man. And Orange Cassidy came out on top against three very, very, very good competitors, and he's defended that title for the 25th straight time. So congratulations to Orange Cassidy on that amazing feat. Next up, Jungle Boy Jack Perry looked to take the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship away from Sonata, but he was unsuccessful. Jungle Boy Jack Perry gave it all he had, but Sonata hit him with his patented moonsault press and picked up the win there. And after the match, which was most shocking, a moment which very few people saw coming, myself included. Jungle Boy Jack Perry turned on his longtime friend and tag team partner Hook, and he is now getting ready for a huge heel run. So it'll be very interesting to see where that goes. Next up, you had a huge 10-man tag. The Elite, consisting of Adam Page and the Young Bucks, and along with the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii and the Mad King Eddie Kingston, defeated the tandem of the Blackpool Combat Club, consisting of Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and John Moxley, along with Shotei Umino, John Moxley's tag team partner in New Japan, frequent tag team partner in New Japan, and Konosuke Takeshita of DDT Pro fame. This was a wild one, man. Everybody was everywhere in this one, but the tandem of the Elite and Eddie Kingston and what do you call it? The tandem of the Elite, Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii ended up picking up the win for their team. Next up, you had Toni Storm successfully retained the AEW Women's World Champion against New Japan Strong Women's Champion Willow Nightingale. Nothing too crazy to write home about, usual interference from the Outcast, which is a group led by Saraya, formerly known as Paige in WWE, and along with Ruby Soho, along with formerly known as Ruby Riott, and Toni Storm. So lots of interference there, nothing to write home about in that matchup. Next up, next up was the semi main event, man. So before we get to that, let me just say that there was supposed to be one other match on the show. Filthy Tom Lawler was supposed to go up against Adam Cole, but due to an unforeseen illness, Adam Cole could not make it, and a speedy recovery to him, and instead Tom Lawler ended up competing in a dark match before the show and defeating Serpentico. But now on to the co-main event. First up, it was Will Ospreay defeated Kenny Omega to become the new IWGP United States champion in an absolute classic. Anybody who tries to demean pro wrestling and say that it's fake or it's not an art form, we all know it's fake. Come on, it's scripted. It's scripted, and the winners are predetermined. But the pain that we put ourselves through is not fake. Let's just get that out of the way, man. But as for it being in our form, if you don't believe it, just go back and watch tonight's matchup. These men went 45 minutes, and it was just pure art at its pure pro wrestling art at its absolute finest, man. I cannot say enough. I thought the first matchup between the two in back at Wrestle Kingdom in January was a match of the year candidate, but this one somehow topped that one, and in that one, Kenny Omega, and in the first one, Kenny Omega came out on top, and in this one, Will Ospreay managed to come out on top and get the W, and is now the new IWGP United States champion. Just everything that you want in a pro wrestling match. It kept you on the edge, kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and it was just amazing. It was art. Next and finally, oh no, and before the main event, you had a 6-man tag with Sting, Darby Allin, and Tetsuya Naito, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion, taking on Minoru Suzuki, Sammy Guevara, and Chris Jericho. The one highlight in that in an otherwise bland match was the fact that Sting and Chris Jericho stood across the ring from each other for the first time ever, which is very hard to believe, man. They never faced each other, and they were both in WCW. Jericho was kind of a mid-carder back then, and Sting was working a program with Hulk Hogan, so they never got to face off. So even if it's this late in their careers, I would love to see them have a one-on-one match against each other, just to say that they did it. And it looks like we're probably going to get that somewhere down the line, and I cannot wait to see it. So yeah, and that was that. And then in the main event, another absolute classic. Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, took on the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, man. And man, and just hearing the final countdown again, which was a staple of the American Dragon back in his Ring of Honor days, man. It felt so good to hear because a few days ago the rights to the song had gotten sold, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to hear it, and we got it, man. So thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you for giving Bryan Danielson his old theme back, and thank you for the match. Kazuchika Okada and Bryan Danielson put on one hell of an absolute clinic. Bryan got Kazuchika Okada to tap out, and no shame in tapping out, man. But two of the very best in the world, and they proved it tonight. And overall, Forbidden Door was an amazing pay-per-view, just like it was last year. And last year was the inaugural Forbidden Door, and it was hard to top. And this year somehow topped last year. And I can't wait to see what they do with it in the future, man. I just love pro wrestling, man. Pro wrestling for me is a passion. It's something I love, and I will continue to love until I can love no more. Anyway, man. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope if you saw Forbidden Door, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.